we have. So I want to welcome Sehar Khanna, who's the marketing manager of Asia Pacific for the GMAC to this session. And in this session, we're going to talk about everything that you need to know about the online GMAT versus the in-center GMAT, and I want to thank you guys for also sending in all those questions in. So in general, the format that we'll go through is Sehar will go through a small 10-minute presentation on what the online GMAT is and how the GMAC is positioning the online GMAT with regards to the in-center GMAT. And then from there on, we already have a list of questions that we'll go through, and then I'm sure you'll have more questions, and we'll go through those questions after that. So Sehar, over to you. Welcome to the session.
Thank you so much, Rajat, and thank you so much to the entire e-GMAT team for having and organizing this webinar, this session, actually, this live session. We've been doing too many webinars, so we're just used to those. Welcome, everyone. Hope you're all doing well and you all are safe in your homes or, wherever you are. Today, we're going to spend some time on the online GMAT. And before Rajat throws some questions at me, I'm just going to take you through a presentation, a quick, 7 to 8 slides, just to let you know and set some context about what the online GMAT is all about. So I'm just going to share my screen. Give me a minute.
All right, we can see that, Sehar.
Yeah. Okay, can you see it in the full screen mode?
Yep, we can.
Great, awesome. So we're all going through, obviously, a pandemic, and I'm sure you all are aware that many business models are going through a lot of change. And actually, GMAC decided, way back in March that we should work on a product which is the online GMAT, so that all candidates at the comfort of their homes can actually take the GMAT test. So that was the objective behind the online GMAT exam. More or less, the exam is absolutely similar as compared to the GMAT at the test center. There is, except for the AWA section that's going away, that you don't have at the online GMAT, everything else remains the same. There's the same quant, same verbal and IR. The number of questions remain the same. The time that you have per question also remains the same. So as such, as far as your prep is concerned, nothing actually has changed. Your scoring methodology, algorithm, scoring scales remains the same. It also obviously is, the online GMAT is as credible as the GMAT at the test center. I'll just also like to mention right here that online GMAT was actually launched after consultation with a lot of schools. With all your major schools, we took a buy-in from all of them, and they were more than happy that we're coming out with a product ready for the market, especially in a crisis that we're all going through. What has changed? Obviously, because it is a test that you actually sit at home and take, so delivery has changed a little. Now you don't have an invigilator going around, at your test center. Rather, you have a proctor who is constantly looking at your video feed. So that is something that has changed. Other than that, there are certain, obviously, security measures that we've taken. There are certain pictures, ID, etc. You'll have to upload. So all of that, it's a part of the check-in process that you have to do. But otherwise, it's something very convenient that that we've launched just for your convenience to apply to schools. As far as structure, scores, and experience is concerned, let me take you through in a little bit of a detail in case for those who don't know about it. Like I said, other than the AWA section going away, quant, verbal, and IR are the 3 sections which are anyway there in the online, in the GMAT at the test center as well. So it remains the same. You don't have a section order flexibility now. You'll have to take the test in a certain section order, which is quant first, then verbal, and then IR. Also the break. So earlier there was, when I say earlier, I meant at the test center, actually, you have 2 breaks, optional breaks of 8 minutes each. For the online GMAT, you have only 1 5-minute break, that is between the verbal and the IR section. So you don't have a break between quant and verbal. So that's another change that has happened to the structure of the test. As far as your working is concerned, scribbling work, your rough work, we actually launched the online GMAT just with the online whiteboard option. we received a lot of market feedback, and we felt that there was a need from the candidates who felt that they wanted to scribble and they wanted that whiteboard option that was already available at the test center. They wanted that for the online GMAT as well. And we took that market feedback, and now you have that option to be taking the GMAT with the physical whiteboard, which you will have to purchase by yourself through any of the retailers, be it Amazon, Flipkart, or any offline retailers as well. But that's something that is an option for you in case you want to take the GMAT at home. There's also a few things which remain the same, which is a great advantage, is that the validity of the score is still 5 years. So whether you take it at the test center or you take it at home, it doesn't matter. Your score will be valid for 5 years. The great advantage that you have with the online GMAT is that you can send your scores free of cost to as many programs and as many schools as you want. So that's another advantage that you have with the online GMAT. Though there is no repeat testing allowed as of now for the online GMAT, so you only get to take it once. And there are accommodations available in case people with disability need some extra time. Once you submit your application and it gets verified, you will be able to avail these accommodations. I've already spoken about the structure of the exam, but just to let you know, there's a 15-minute, actually the check-in process might just take 5 minutes, but 15 minutes are dedicated to the check-in process, where you can upload your pictures, and you can also have to do a scan of, you also have to send a few pictures of the 360-degree scan of your desk and where you're actually going to sit and take the test, so the environment around. After the check-in process, you start your test, you take quant, you take verbal, you take the break of 5 minutes. You can actually, use the washroom, eat, drink, whatever, and then come back and then appear for your IR section. Talking about the two whiteboards, since now you have two options, you have the online whiteboard, which is obviously, it'll be on your tab above. You can just click on it, and the online whiteboard will open up, and you can use it for any question that you want. The practice of online whiteboard is actually, there's a practice tool available on mba.com, so you can just check out that and practice on that whiteboard. We also have all our exams now, the official practice exams that are on mba.com. They also come with an online whiteboard now, so you can practice there and also take the test with the online whiteboard. You also have the option of taking the physical whiteboard. So for that, you have to purchase a physical whiteboard, and appointments beginning 11th June have that option. Also, I'd like to clarify right here, in case you've taken the GMAT, online GMAT, using an online whiteboard before, you can take it again using the physical whiteboard. So only in those cases, in case you've taken the GMAT using the online whiteboard, you have the option of retesting with the physical whiteboard. You will have to pay the full fee though, but you have the option of taking the test with the physical whiteboard. Just in case you think you can do better with the physical whiteboard, we have given that option. The whiteboard requirements, what you need is, you need a erasable whiteboard, which is no larger than 12 inches into 20 inches, and that I'm sure you understand is quite big, so you don't need anything bigger than that. You also have the option of buying two markers, two dry erase markers, and one whiteboard eraser. And the things that you have to make sure is, while purchasing the whiteboard, make sure that you don't buy whiteboards which have grids on them or which have background colors. You're only allowed a white whiteboard and should not have any markings on it. You're also not allowed the writing tablet, etc. So there are lots of different kind of boards that are available online, but make sure you don't use all of those tech devices. What you need is just a plain, traditional, simple whiteboard, and make sure that you also follow the size guidelines, and you should be good to go. About preparation a little bit, since we understand that during the lockdown, especially for the first many weeks, you did not have access to non-essential items through Amazon. So our official guide wasn't available on Amazon. So that's why we launched an online online official guide, which is available on Wiley, which is the same price as the physical book. So you can purchase that, and the link is right there. It's wileyindia.com/GMAT/, and you go on this and you should be able to able to get access to not just the official guide, but also all our online official material. Along with that, in case your city allows you to purchase a physical book, you can also go to Amazon and purchase the official guide 2021. So that's something that I also wanted to share. These are some important links that I thought I'll just put them up on a slide. We'll also talk about some of these links, when I get some questions related to them. But do make sure that you have them ready. If in case you want to check your test center status, you can just go to mba.com/find-a-seat. And I'll make sure that someone puts up these links on the chat window so that you have access to them. But these are some system requirements, etc., that you should check before signing up for Online GMAT. All you have to do is just go to mba.com/exam/GMAT online, and you're going to get all the information related to the test there. So that's about it from my side. I wanted to keep it short so that we have enough time for questions, and I'm open to taking questions now.
All right, sir. That was very nice, by the way. This was exactly 10 minutes. I absolutely love that. So while you were talking about it, I want to kind of clarify one thing. So with regards to online whiteboard and comparing that to the scratch pad that we have in center. So it's actually the online whiteboard is way bigger than the scratch pad that you're allowed that you get in center GMAT, right?
Yeah, the physical whiteboard you said,
yeah, the physical whiteboard. I'm sorry, yes.
Yes, is definitely much bigger than the one that's available at the center.
And then there was a question over here. It says, why did you remove the pen and paper? It's like there was never a pen and paper with the in-center GMAT. That was like 99 is when we were talking about, or 2005.
Absolutely. It's because of security reasons, frankly, that there is no pen, paper, or any stylus or any external device that's not allowed because of security reasons.
Okay, so here is a question that I also want to add one clarification. It's a really big point that a lot of people miss about the online GMAT, which I think we're going to cover as well. But with the in-center GMAT, if you want to actually send scores to more than 5 schools, you pay $25 per school. With the online GMAT, if you want to send it to 15 schools, you don't pay anything extra. So hypothetically, you save about $250 if you were to send it to 15 schools.
Absolutely.
And this is something which is there right now. If it's a possibility, 3 months down the line, this could change. But now you're allowing
as
this.
Of today, yes, as of today, and as of until the next deadline to have the online GMAT is 17th of July. You do have the option of taking the online GMAT till the 17th of July. It might get extended, it might not get extended, depends on the situation. But all I'd say is that if you have that option, make use of it because your score sending is free.
Okay. Yes, I want to encourage people to take use of it. I mean, that's a huge money saver that's there. So let's talk about a few other things right now. So I want to, and I know you touched upon this, but I want to talk about this question because this comes on again and again. Is the online GMAT any less or any more valid than the in-center GMAT? Let's stress a bit on that.
Sure. So as far as validity is concerned,
the score, I mean.
Yes. The score validity is 5 years for online GMAT, like it is for the in-center GMAT. So absolutely, there's no difference in the validity. And like I said during the presentation also, that the scores are comparable. We've seen data, and the completion rates, we compared it with the test center GMAT and the online GMAT. We also compared the scores of individuals who've taken both, and they're absolutely comparable. So there is really no difference that we're seeing between the online GMAT and the test center GMAT. And the schools also, we have a buy-in from them. And they're also considering the online GMAT score to be absolutely same as the in-center GMAT, because there is really no difference. If you see the total score, it comes from quant and verbal, which is the same. And IR, you already get a separate score as you do with the online GMAT as well. It's just the AWA section that has that I think is not obviously there in the online GMAT, but you have a lot of other criteria, be it like LORs, and I was talking to you about there's so much in the application process that goes that the school can test your essay writing ability through those criteria. So they're more than happy considering taking the online GMAT, and it's as good as the GMAT at the test center. There's absolutely no difference.
Okay, so I think let's now talk about and so for the next about it's 6:46 a.m. my time or 7:15 a.m. PM in India. So let's kind of talk about some of the advantages of online GMAT, and then we're going to talk about some of the considerations that one should go through to decide whether the online GMAT's right for them. So at a very high level, what are some of the advantages that we see of the online GMAT that it has over the in-center GMAT?
So there are plenty of advantages. The first would be, frankly, the price. So the price of the online GMAT is $200 as compared to the price of the GMAT at the test center, which is $250. So there you save $50. The other bit is obviously like score sending is free. So you're saving those $35 that you're spending on every time you actually apply to a program. So you save that money, and you can apply to infinite as many schools and as many programs as you would want, which is, I think you should totally use this opportunity because the more number of schools you send your score to, obviously your chances increase. So that is another great, I think, feature of the online GMAT. The other bit is that for the online GMAT, you're using your own machine, you're using your own computer, you're using now your own whiteboard as well, you're using your own markers, your new markers that you've just ordered. So you're also, because the machine, you're so comfortable with it, you've given all your practice tests, you work on that machine. I think that definitely comes, I think the stress levels are much lesser because you're very familiar with the equipment that you're working with. Not just that, but also the home experience, right? Because sitting at home and taking the test with no obviously also any fear because what we are all going through is we are actually now scared to even step out of the house. So in that case, you're totally safe in your homes and you're familiar with your workstation. I think that plays a very key role. And along with that, also that you can take the test at any given point in time. You can take it. It's 24/7, 7 days a week. So you can even take it at 2 a.m. at night if that's when you have your peace and quiet time at your home. So I think that's another advantage. The other advantage that I can think of is that it does not count in your number of attempts. So in your your yearly attempts and your lifetime attempts, your online GMAT doesn't count. So might as well use it. And the score is, like I said, valid for 5 years. So take it and bank it and use it whenever you want to. So all I just say is you need a quiet, definitely a room in your house. You need an internet connection which has at least 1 Mbps. You need consistent power supply because you obviously if there's a power cut which goes on for long, there could be a problem. And though there is some resilience built into the system already, if there is a power cut or there's internet problem for a few seconds or maybe a minute, the system can handle it and you will resume the test from where you left at without losing the exam time. But I'd still say it's always better if you have a stable connection and a stable power supply. It's really the ideal, I think, condition to be taking the online GMAT.
So I want to actually talk about one thing which someone so it's familiar environment, just to summarize, very familiar environment that is there, and you're using your own equipment to do this. I want to ask, what's the reschedule fee for the online GMAT, and what's the process for that?
Actually, what's great is that we're not charging any rescheduling fee. Yeah, so
you should mention that. That's a big thing.
that is another great advantage. Thank you for pointing that out. There is absolutely no reschedule fee. So yeah.
So what you're really saying is, if I feel I will be ready in 20 days and I book it, and I feel I'm not ready and I want to schedule it 10 days later, I can do it.
Absolutely.
Which is not possible with the in-center GMAT because you've got to book a slot, and there's a lot of logistics involved over there. And
even for the test center GMAT, though, we're not charging for any rescheduling because of obviously the situation, the crisis situation that we're all going through. We understand that it's so dynamic. In some cities, the lockdown has eased. In some, it's not as much. So even for the test center GMAT, we are allowing free of cost rescheduling.
Yes. So, I mean, that's a huge thing for those of you who want to hedge their bets to really say, hey, I think I'll be ready in 20 days. Let me book it. And if you're not, then that's something which is there. The other piece which I want to touch upon, as you said, there is a possibility that there will be more dates beyond the 17th of July. So for those of you who won't be ready till the 17th of July, and maybe are looking at end of July or early August, there is a possibility they can still take advantage of the online GMAT.
Absolutely.
So,
It
and
is.
then
Yeah. So obviously, the situation in India, everyone knows, is not getting any better. The cases are only increasing, and they're touching a new benchmark. So,
Mm.
we are committed to having the online solution available throughout the COVID crisis,
Mm.
and we will continue to extend availability as and when needed.
Okay.
So yeah, if the situation goes bad, we will have to extend it beyond
It's
17th
not
July.
just India, right? I mean, even in the US, the situation isn't getting any better. And I
Right.
was talking to so I'll add a few of my own data points. I've spoken to students, e.g. matters, who've done well, and there are some interviews they can see on our YouTube channel. But we've seen scores of mini scores of 700 or higher, a few scores of 740. I've spoken to one guy who scored a 770 as recently as last Thursday. So I've seen some when you say the scores have been very comparable, I can see the same pattern at my end as well. Um, the other huge thing is you take the online GMAT, you can still go and take the in-center GMAT. It doesn't count towards your attempt. That's a big thing.
Yes.
So one last point that I want to add is if any of you have attended our Saturday sessions, they typically last about 2.5 hours to 3 hours. If you were able to attend that session without being disconnected, I think it's an evidence that you have a strong enough internet connection to last the online GMAT, because that's kind of the similar duration
Yeah.
overall.
Yeah.
Um,
It's 2.5 max 3 hours. Yeah.
yes,
Including.
yes. Hmm. So let's talk about, and just to really tell you how big the whiteboard is, this is the whiteboard. This is an example of a 12 by 16 whiteboard. It's not 12 by 20 inches, it's 12 by 16. And man, I can't keep this on my desk. So,
Yeah.
so just to really tell you, it's way bigger than the scratch pad that you're allowed in the in-center GMAT. So I think it's a huge advantage if you're someone who, like me, who likes to write a lot. And the online whiteboard is a big plus on the GMAT, because on the verbal side, you can really, it allows you to focus on the prompt that's given. It comes to the next question. Can we take the online GMAT once as of now? Right? It's just once, Sehar?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. Only in two conditions. Like I said, if you've taken the online GMAT before with the online whiteboard, then you can definitely take it again. Or in case there's some technical issue that you faced, which means that your internet connection or your power outage, something went wrong, and then you could not finish your test, your case will be registered, it'll be verified, and in those cases, you can take the test again. And there will be no fee charged in case
Yes.
such a technical issue happens.
And I want to highlight that point. So, I mean, in case there's a technical issue, it's not that money goes waste.
No, absolutely. So you will actually be, you can take the test again. You don't have to pay again. So in the same fee that you have paid for the first exam where you face the technical issue, you can take the second one.
Okay, I see a lot of people saying wow to certain points that Sarah was making. If you like the information, I'd say click the like button as well on wherever you are, whether it's Facebook or YouTube, and say that. Now, I want to add a couple of other points that. Okay, I think this is an important question. What kind of webcam specifications? Do you have a webcam specification?
No, actually, there's no webcam specification. You can actually check the systems requirement link, I think, that I shared, and check if there is. So you can use an external webcam, or you can use the one that's inbuilt with your system. There's no problem at all. As far as all you have to do is you have to make sure that it focuses on your face. And I think one of the questions which I get very often is that while you're scribbling on your, your
Whiteboard.
your whiteboard, so do you have to focus on the whiteboard, because will the proctor want to see what you're scribbling on? So I just want to clarify, it's not the case. You have to just focus on your face. You don't have to readjust your webcam. And that's it. So just make sure that your face is visible throughout. Your writing could be off screen. That's fine. But you do have to show your blank whiteboard before the test. before the break, before after the break, when you come and sit and start
Mm.
your IR section again, and even at the end of the test, you have to rub it off, show your blank screen to the proctor on the webcam, and then that's
Mhm.
it. So those are the times that you have to show your whiteboard. Otherwise, it's not really needed.
Mhm. Okay, there are a couple of other questions which I want to take on. So I think we've talked a lot about the online network, familiar environment, scheduling at your own time, and we talked about, just to really emphasize on the scheduling at your own time point. Um, Sarah and I were looking at the in-center appointments available in Delhi, and I think between now or the next 1 week, we kind of probably would say about 40-50 appointments available over a week in the larger Delhi area or so. On the online side, you'd have a lot more bandwidth available with regards to the
Right,
capacity.
right, right.
So
Maybe we can share the link of
yes, so yes, if
I'll just,
Karthika, you can share that link, or Seher, if you have it
yeah,
handy, we can do
I
that as well.
can just
Yes. And one of the other things which is there is, yes, power failure does count as a technical issue. And so
yes,
if you have a major power failure, then do this. One thing that I can tell you, which we are doing, because as e-GMAT we are operating virtually all throughout, we are providing with all people who work at e-GMAT with a power backup for their modem, and your laptop already has enough of a power backup, so you can build some resilience in your own system as well.
yeah.
In case you have a power failure, you can still continue taking the test.
Absolutely. That's a great point. I think if everyone's prepared like that, then you wouldn't have those technical issues, right? Because it obviously
Hmm.
mentally affects you. You kind of get hassled, and
Hmm.
even if it comes back in a few minutes, it's best to you
Yes.
know be prepared. So I just shared the link for everyone. I just want to let you know mba.com/find a seat
Hmm.
is the link in case you want to check whether your test center close to you is open and is
Hmm.
taking appointments for GMAT. Just go to this link and type in your region, and you'll get the test centers which are taking appointments.
Mhm. Okay. One of the other things that share links that I will share with you is a link of a UPS that we are providing to all e-GMAT employees, which make sure that in case the power goes off, the computer still stays on. And I think this is a really great thing to have if you're working from home in general, not just for taking the online GMAT. So that's something that you can do. Okay, so let's talk about the in-center GMAT. So when you think about the in-center GMAT and you really say, okay, under what scenario do you think an in-center GMAT would be a better option for a student than the online GMAT?
Well, I would say in center would be better in case you don't, like I said, in case you don't have a quiet room in your house. In case because in the room when you're taking the test, nobody's allowed. Right? You have to take the test alone. Also, in case you don't have internet connection, that which is that good, which you don't have a stable internet connection, you don't have a speed that's needed, which is a 1 Mbps. If you don't have that, and there are power issues, then I suggest you should consider taking the test at the test center.
Okay. Again, just to really tell you, there are issues that you can mitigate. Power issues, I think, if you buy a power backup, you can mitigate. But really, if you don't have enough space in your house, that's something that you can't mitigate. There, you'd better go off
Absolutely.
doing the in-center
Yeah.
GMAT. Um, and so then a lot of people are saying, if two things happen, one is if they've already booked the in-center GMAT, can they take the online GMAT now that we have the whiteboard? Or if they book the in-center GMAT and because of the pandemic, the test gets cancelled, can they then convert that reservation to an online GMAT reservation sometime later?
Actually, the problem is that you can't transfer appointments,
Mhm.
but that means that there's no option right now where you just cancel your test center appointment and then you immediately like get an
Mhm.
option that book in online. That's not there. What you have to do is you have to go through a process where you have to cancel one medium, whether you booked an online and you want to maybe take the test at the test center, you have to cancel the online test and then book a fresh appointment for the test center. You can't just transfer directly. And the same thing, if you have booked in a test at the test center, you'll have to cancel
Mhm.
that and then book a fresh appointment for the online GMAT.
No. So,
So,
so let me ask you. So, if I have an in-center GMAT, can I cancel it and get my money back?
yes,
Is that a? Oh, you can
yes,
get the money back and then you can book
yes,
online.
yes, yes,
Okay, so that's huge.
yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
I mean
huge.
that we're not taking any cancellation fees, so you could do that.
Okay. And again, I just want to clarify that piece over there. Okay.
Yeah.
The one other thing which is there is, yes, the in-center GMAT does give you section order preference, but one of the things that I saw from the research report that the GMAC had is there was really no statistical difference in scores when you offered section order versus when you did not. So just for
Yeah.
people who are taking the test, section order as a preference was offered sometime in 2018. So it's a relatively new thing, and but it didn't boost the score. So it you people may feel like that it's an advantage, but really statistically you haven't seen that, right?
Yeah. So statistically, actually, I cannot comment whether there was an increase in score or not, whether you took a verbal first or quant first, but mostly globally, we did not see as such a huge variance of anything. So
Mhm.
you could take. So that's why, and majority of the people actually, when we saw global data, took the
Mhm.
quant section first, and
Mhm.
then followed it up with verbal, and then would take their
Mhm.
IR and AWS. So that's what we did. So we made sure that the fixed section order has quant first, and then it has verbal.
Mhm. Okay. Um, the other question which is there is how many times can you take the online GMAT? I think we've already answered that question. But if you want to just talk about it once again, because it seems to come again and again. I think we've had a few people who've joined in the recent few minutes or so.
Sure. So you cannot retake the online GMAT. You can just take it once. As of now, that's the policy that we are following. Only in case you've taken the online GMAT using the online whiteboard and you want to take it maybe using the physical whiteboard. Now that you have an option which is starting 11th June, the appointments the appointment starting 11th June, you could actually use the physical whiteboard. So in those cases, you can take the GMAT again, but only in those cases. Otherwise, the online GMAT you can only take it once.
But I think people shouldn't even be bothered about it, frankly, because here is the thing: the in if you think about the next 2 months, they can only probably take the GMAT once, most of them at least, and so if they meet certain prerequisites with regards to having a quiet space in their house, a reliable enough internet connection, go ahead, book the online GMAT, and then you don't know. There's a possibility based on the demand you could decide but as of now, that's what the policy is.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Then a couple of other things. I think it's a question which someone asked, which is during the test, if you need to rub the whiteboard, the physical whiteboard, you don't need to show it to the proctor that I'm rubbing the whiteboard. You can just erase it and.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can just erase it only when you're, like I said, you just have to display and show your blank whiteboard at certain times, which is after the test, before the test, and after the break.
Okay. All right. That's good. There are a few questions I know you guys are asking. When will you get the revised timeline? Because I'm sure many of you want to take the online GMAT after 17th of July. Um I don't think Sehar has a timeline for that, but it could happen in the next few weeks or so.
Yeah, I don't have it right now. I wish
Hmm.
I had it. I would have communicated,
Hmm.
but we don't have a plan right now. We just know that it's going to be there till 17th of July. So things are
Hmm.
so dynamic, so it really depends on how
Hmm.
situation changes by that time.
Yes, and if you've booked your in-person GMAT, you can book your online GMAT without canceling the in-person exam. You can have two simultaneous bookings. That's not as long as they don't clash, which means you don't have to
Absolutely.
be at two places at one.
Yeah.
Uh, so yes. So I mean, you absolutely have that flexibility. All right, let's go through our list of questions over there. We've talked about if the internet goes off, if there's a power failure, you don't lose the money. You still get the option to take it again. Um,
Yeah.
we've talked about erasing the whiteboard. That's not a problem. On uh, Can you use both physical and online whiteboard during the test? Uh, we talked about it. Yes.
Yes, yes, you can. I think that it depends on your comfort level of which whiteboard you're more comfortable using, be it in quant or verbal. And like I've heard generally people like using the physical whiteboard in quant because you need, to scribble those math equations, etc. Whereas for verbal, like you said, you better kind of hide your options because you don't want to get into the trap of the options, because that's the entire purpose of having those options to make you wonder which one's the right fit. But yeah, you could use the online whiteboard for the verbal, but it's all up to you. And I think for this, you guys are experts, so um,
We have a
you-
channel where you be show how
yeah,
to use the online whiteboard.
yeah.
One other important question, which is there, you can see the question by Deepthi: can we cancel the scores for online GMAT?
Actually, this question has we've gotten a lot of times, and I just want to clarify this. Actually, cancellation feature for online GMAT becomes very redundant. I'll explain you why. In the online GMAT, what happens is you take the test. You don't get to see your score immediately after the test, right? You do get the score after 7 business days. You could get it in fact in 2 to 3 days also, but we say maximum 7 days. You will get the score. You get your score, and once you see your score, then you have the option of sending the score to as many programs as you want. So in that case, the cancellation feature doesn't. It's really not needed, right? Whereas at the test center, what we had was the whole process was different. It was you get 5 options, you get 5 programs where you could send your score to before actually taking the test. So you kind of assume that you're going to get the score in a particular range. You already have those 5 programs in set, and then once you see your score, you get to decide whether you should cancel it or not. Right? You cancel it in case you did not get the score that you were expecting. But if you did get your score, then you just submit it so that all those 5 schools that you had decided that you're going to send your score to, which was submitted before the test, you already know that list, and you know whether you'll get there or not. So
I
it was a very relevant option in the test center. But in the online GMAT, since you have the option of sending the score after you see the score, you don't have to assume anything. So in this case, cancellation doesn't really play
I
that.
think there's a very big point that I want to make over there. So the beauty with what you just described is it can be used to your advantage. So let's say I'm aiming for a 740. Take and I have, and before you aim for a certain score, you have a list of schools in your mind. You have a tier 1, tier 2 schools, and you get a 700, and you say, okay, maybe it's not good enough for my T1 schools, but it's good enough for my T2 schools. So I want to send this 700 to my T2 schools because it's good enough for that. And then let me, if I'm going to take the GMAT again, I'm going to reserve those 5 slots, because you can only take the GMAT again in center. And then those 5 slots that you get, you reserve those for your T1 schools. And so that way you're broadening the range of schools that you've sent your scores to. It gives you strategic options over there, which I think is really great.
Absolutely.
Um, so that's there. That's really, really good. And I think that's another huge advantage that you get with online GMAT that you have. Because with the in-center GMAT, the 5 schools that you would decide will likely be the T1 schools, not T2 schools. Here, you can decide
Yeah.
the T2
Yeah,
school.
there are more aspirational schools, obviously, that you choose, and then you see your score, and then you decide whether you've gotten it or not. But online GMAT gives you the option to send it to after seeing your score, which is, I think, great.
And this is a point that I also want to really say. So there's a thing. Why is it that no? I think it's a wrong question. I shared the wrong one. Why does the in-person GMAT not allow the same functionality with as many schools as possible? I want to mention that what you told me. Even the online GMAT, this is a promotional offer. So you make use of it
Yeah,
while
I
you
would
can.
say in times of crisis, yeah, with an interim solution that we have, uh, that's the functionality that you have as of now. With the in-person, we do not have that functionality where you can send it to as many free of cost. It doesn't work like that. We have certain limitations, right, with respect to feature settings for be it online GMAT or the in-center GMAT, and there's a lot that goes behind into it. So that's where we are. So make use of the opportunities that you have, and yeah, that's all that I'd like to say.
Okay. And so essentially, if you do poorly on the online GMAT, you don't send your scores to any of the schools. The score doesn't exist
Absolutely,
then.
absolutely.
Okay. So that was a question. So one other question, which is I think which is really important, is Tulika asked this question, and I'm going to show it. It's about the physical whiteboard. You have both sides of the whiteboard need to be clear, right? You
Well, yes, you cannot have a colored background on the whiteboard, so it has to be clear.
and just to really show you this, you can't have something like this on one side and something like this on the other side
Yeah,
too.
you cannot have. Yeah,
Cannot
you
have
cannot
it.
have the grid or the any
Yes,
marking. No kind of marking is allowed on the
yes.
whiteboard.
So it could be white. It could be a whiteboard on one side, and it could have the cardboard back on the other side. That's okay, which is how typically whiteboards are. They're not white on both sides, but you can't have a writing side on the other side, which you're leveraging.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, let's see any other question. I think we've touched on most
Actually,
of the.
on that note, Rajat, if you don't mind, can we share the links of certain products that
Yeah, we can
what
share
GMAC has done?
Yeah, we already
Yeah.
shared those links. I think let's share them again. It's a
Okay.
great, yes, we shared those links. So
Yeah,
Karthik,
I
if you
think
can
this is a
share.
great point because a lot of times this question comes about what kind of whiteboard is allowed.
Hmm.
And for that reason, actually, we shared some links on Amazon and Flipkart, and they which follow the guidelines specified on MBA.com. Obviously, you can go beyond those and buy whatever you think follows the guidelines specified by MBA.com, but these are the ones that we are definitely as GMAC approved products. So but the disclaimer is that there is no guarantee on the product quality or the product shipping time, etc., from us, because these are just products which are available in these with these websites, which we felt follow the guideline which is mentioned by us. But as far as the product is concerned, we do not take guarantee of that.
Yes. Yeah. So I think these are good representations of what a product could be. I think,
Yeah.
yes. Room description. Anything specific that should not be there in the room if you're taking the GMAT from home?
I think as far as your desk is concerned, as such a room, there's no as such a specification or description of a particular room where you have to take the GMAT, but your work desk where you actually sit and take the GMAT has to be clean. You're not allowed any kind of paper, no pens, no external devices are allowed, not even your phone. In fact, I got this question from someone: can I use a mobile hotspot in case I don't have a stable Wi-Fi connection? You cannot do that. So your mobile cannot be even around you. So it's best to keep it outside the room. And yeah, so just have a clean work desk, and you're allowed water. That's about it. There's no food or there shouldn't be anything else on the table. And you have your whiteboard with you and the marker and duster and your system, of course.
So one other thing that answer this is a question: so do you need to have a physical Ethernet cable going into the computer, or will a strong Wi-Fi do the job? Sarah, you want to talk about it, and then I want to comment on this one specifically.
Yeah, I would say anything. Anything, whatever. You just need to have internet connection, which is a 1 Mbps for the GMAT. You can do with LAN or Wi-Fi.
So I want to just say one thing, and yes, from an official standpoint, I think it's anything. But my strong recommendation, just given what I've seen as the routers, unless and until you have a really good router, a powerful one, a router that you paid for, I would recommend that you have a physical Ethernet wire going into it, just because typical Wi-Fi routers, if you use them at 1 Mbps, typical, when I say the cheap Wi-Fi routers that your internet provider provides, they would go off once for about 30 seconds during continuous 3-hour usage. Now, if you have an Asus or a Netgear or one of those other reasonably more powerful routers, that's fine. I think they'll just do the job. The 4 guys who I interviewed who've taken the online GMAT, 2 of them have physical internet connections, 2 of them had Wi-Fi routers, but they had good Wi-Fi routers over there. So I think that's a consideration you should keep in mind, is what I would say.
I've also actually, for the benefit of everyone, shared a link, and you can just go to the system requirement link, which tells you which exactly system you're allowed to use and what you're not allowed.
Okay. The other piece which is there is whispering allowed during no, I think whispering, and this is what I want to really just say. So during
Is whispering allowed during, basically you're talking while to yourself while you're solving?
Yes.
Actually, the proctor will mind it, because it's, again, security reasons. It might look to the proctor like you're talking to someone else in the room, or you're trying to maybe give out questions or solution or your thought process to someone else, and someone else is maybe in the room guiding you. So which will not be taken in the right manner, obviously, because of which you will not be allowed to. In fact, your proctor will also notice your body movements. So try and not, be over dramatic while you're kind of solving questions, or too much of eye movements will also be seen as suspicious activity, and you don't want to fall into that
Yeah, but so I think this is something which is
category.
there. But mumbling, even in the in-center GMAT, is something that would not be taken kindly either
Yes,
way. So,
yes, 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 yes.
so it's not that this is
Absolutely.
just specifically to the online GMAT. You
Yeah,
can't really just
yeah,
mumble in the in-center GMAT either. It's just don't mumble, period.
yeah.
So the other piece which is there is, I think, again, suspicious movements. You said suspicious movements means looking in this direction and just looking in this direction with an intent to get information, because
Yeah, exactly. Or maybe too much of, if I'm talking to you, if I'm just constantly looking in one direction and looking back, obviously this is also another suspicious, movement. And the proctor is there for a reason. He's going to actually look at your video feed throughout the test. So, so
yeah. So
unless you're just good to go, obviously your basic movements are absolutely okay while you're taking the test. You're writing on your scratch pad. All of that movement is absolutely okay because the proctor also understands that you have a physical whiteboard now, and you're going to scribble there. So your eye movements will, move from left to right, obviously to your whiteboard back and to your screen. But that much is fine, but not obviously uh, too much of haywire.
okay, let's talk about this question. Can you drink? Can you drink? Have a glass of water while taking the test?
During the breaks, you can obviously get up and also eat and drink, and you can use the washroom and then come back. But during the test, I think you're allowed a glass of water. It has to be in a clear glass, and you're allowed to drink water during the test.
Okay, then essentially there's no you can there's no restriction on using a standing desk or anything. As long as the proctor can see you, you're fine, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I do have to check whether drinking of water, I think it's one of the FAQ questions. Maybe you could check at mba.com. As far as I remember, you are allowed in a clear glass. You are allowed to drink water, but I'll have to check
Yeah,
it. And I suggest once checking on mba.com the question.
we will get that. But essentially, just desk sitting, standing doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. One other
But
question.
I think because it's 2.5 hours long, I expect people to sit and take the test.
Okay. This is the question. How do we use the online scoring feature if college asks for AWS scores? We haven't seen colleges ask for them. I can tell you, I took the GMAT in 2003, and between then and this time that I've been in the industry, I haven't seen a single college ask for it. But yeah, so you're
So on that, actually, with the online GMAT, we've already had, like I said in the presentation also, we had this conversation with all our major schools. And before launching the test, we made it clear that the AWA section will not be a part of the test. Again, the reason was just because our launch, it was just 30 days into, making a new product was launched into the market, which is a big deal for us. So there were certain, like I said, certain limitations. We had to have a prioritize, we had to prioritize what we can launch and what we can't in the online GMAT. So AWA was one of the sections which we could not include in the beginning in the online GMAT. But as far as the college is concerned, they're not going to ask you because they have given that assurance and confidence to us. They did mention that they are going to take part, they are going to take care of the essay writing skill. They're going to take care of testing the candidate on the essay writing skill if they need to. You won't have to take the in-center GMAT just for your AWS score. That I can assure you.
okay. One of the other things I want to ask people over here is, guys, do you find this information or do you find the session useful? Has it clarified doubts for you? Let's get some answers over there while I scan through questions that are there, because we are towards the fag end of it of our session. We have about probably 5 to 7 more minutes reserved for this, and I want to make sure that this has been useful. So again, then if you found this useful, I'd say I'd want to show the appreciation to the GMAC. If you can like this, that's a way for showing appreciation, so that we can then focus on doing more such sessions um, over there. Um, there was a question
I think
which
I
I don't.
see a question from Shivam. Is there a way
Oh,
to communicate with the proctor if there are any disruptions, system issues, or external issues? I
hmm,
just like to answer that by saying that you can raise your hand,
hmm,
and the proctor will understand that you want to communicate, or you could also quickly type in your customer. So there'll be a customer support logo on top on your bar on the test when you're taking the test. So all you have
hmm,
to do is just the chat option will be there. So you just have to chat and just write to the proctor that you have some issue, technical issue, and you want to speak.
hmm,
The proctor is going to get in touch with you.
hmm. Okay. Uh, let's kind of talk about why is there no break between the quant and verbal section. I think it's by design. You had to do this in 30 days. You had to come up with a test.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
so
I mean, that was something, again, security reasons we couldn't have it. But again, like we're actually working on the product as we speak. Every few days we go back with some market feedback. So let's see. But we're trying to make it as customer friendly as possible for every student to score the best to their abilities.
I want to ask a question point blank, sir. Is the online GMAT in terms of the logistics, is it, I mean, is it reliable the entire process? I'm taking it online and all of that. I mean, what has the experience been over the last 15-20 days or so?
So, as far as you're saying, the reliability of the test,
No, no,
or
the
are you talking?
logistics part. The logistics part, the proctors being trained and all of those things. Not the how the scoring piece. I think the scoring piece you already
Sure.
answered.
Yeah. So as far as the proctors are concerned, they've been trained very well by Actually, Pearson View is our delivery partner for in-center GMAT, and Pearson View is we went ahead with the same delivery partner. So when you actually go on online GMAT, there's an OnView software that you have to download, which is Pearson View's online software, and they are helping us with proctoring as well. So they're all very well trained to take care of your customer support, to take care of any kind of technical issue, etc. So the experience has actually been quite good. We haven't received as many complaints from people saying that the experience wasn't good. In fact, on the other side, we've received
Mm,
experiences where people in a line or two mentioned that it's been a great experience. Had never imagined that it would be so stress free to just take the test at home and just book it just a day prior and be able to take it at any time that you want. So actually people have given us very positive feedback. So we are very happy and encouraged to continue this
mm.
solution as till time calls for it. But we've seen very good feedback, very good user experience from candidates, and more so after launching the physical whiteboard. So I think now there is absolutely nothing that you can say that the online GMAT is at a disadvantage in any way as compared to the GMAT at the test center. So now you have all the same features that you had.
I actually, so a sentiment that, and I'm going to come back to this question again. A sentiment that is echoed over. Shouldn't the online GMAT be continued forever, since it's more convenient? Yes. Yeah.
We don't have an answer to that as yet, frankly. At GMAC, we haven't really decided. It was meant to be an interim solution because of the COVID crisis, and we will continue to have it as long as it's needed. Right now, there's a need to have an online GMAT in the market because test centers, not all of them are open, though some of them are open. So in case people want to, I know that Delhi, Hyderabad, Bombay as well, Pune, Jaipur, uh, Bangalore. So all of these cities have open test centers, but in case that your test center is not open, obviously the online GMAT is available. I don't know whether it will be there after
I think we
the
need to
crisis
sign a
is over or
petition.
not.
The way we said did a petition for the physical whiteboard, we need a petition. Let it, because I mean, here's the thing, right? The test center is open, you go there, and then you kind of realize a COVID case has been discovered, and you can't just go to the test center. I mean, this is just so much more convenient, right? So
I understand. Yeah.
yes, I think we need to start a petition for that. So guys, the ball's in your court. Um, One other question. How many internet disconnection? I think you want to. Is there a formal number, Sehar, you want to talk about?
There is no number of how many internet disconnections are allowed during the exam. All I can say is that if the time limit is not too much, if the it's about few seconds or just a minute, there won't be an issue in you resuming from the same time as you left. So your exam time won't be lost. But if you tell me that 10 times that's happened to you, then I suggest you should in fact consider not taking it at that time, or have a stable internet connection, because it's not just about technicalities there. I think it mentally will stress you enough, which might affect your performance. So it's important for you to have a stable internet connection.
Absolutely. I mean, imagine solving a CR question, then man, the internet went away, and
Yeah.
so I think if you're asking that question, I think you have to probably go back to your ISP,
Yeah.
internet service provider, and ask
Yeah.
him that question: why the hell is this happening? Because it shouldn't happen. I mean, today's day and age, it should not happen. Um, this question: is there an online mock exam by the GMAC which kind of simulates the online GMAT?
Yeah, like I said, there are those 6 mocks that we have, official mocks. So just go to mba.com. 2 are unpaid and 4 of them are paid. So they, in fact, come with the online whiteboard also. And now you, anyway, can have your physical whiteboard and practice there. But in case you want to use the online whiteboard, it has the feature. So you can just pull it out and solve all the questions using the online whiteboard as well.
I
Those
also
mock
want to
exams are available on mba.com.
I also want to add the Sigmax mocks that e-GMAT provides. They have an online GMAT mode. So before you start the test, you can toggle a switch and they go in the online GMAT mode, which means the section order would be decided for you. The breaks would be as per the specification of the online GMAT. So that's something that you can also do over there.
That's
The
great.
other Yes, and the other pieces in Scholaranium, you can simulate even beyond those 5 mocks that we offer. You can simulate also a good number of tests using Scholaranium. I think up to 10 mocks are easily, additional 10 mocks are easily simulatable over there. Um, should you take the test at our office cabin considering a reliable power supply? Do you mind if it's in the office?
No, we don't have any restriction as
As
such.
long as there are no
If it's a
people hovering in the
office
background.
cabin, obviously, if there's nobody around,
Yes.
and if you can take it in silence with no disturbance, um, that's fine.
Okay. I think last 2 minutes, Sarah, do you want to add anything? I think we pretty much answered all the questions that are there, and the ones that are not, we have links to that. But yes, anything you want
Um,
to add?
I think no, we've discussed everything about the online GMAT and the I think the in-center GMAT as well. All I'd like to just leave everyone with the messages that go with what you're comfortable with. If the online GMAT works for you, now that we have all those features, you should actually book an appointment. And since the scheduling and all of those things are taken care of, you don't have to worry. Like Raja said, just book a time for your test and then work backwards. And in case you're comfortable taking it at the test center, also just check. And you do have to wear a mask, so that's something that I wanted to just point out. You have to
Oh,
carry your own mask.
to the
Yes.
test center?
Yes, you have to carry
Oh,
your own mask, and you also have to wear the mask throughout the test. So that's something. It's a health and safety precaution that you have to take if you're planning to take the test at the test center.
oh wow,
But both
that's a
options are
huge.
open.
But that's a huge
Yeah,
disadvantage. I mean, I can't study. I can't really
yeah.
solve
That's
questions.
something. But it calls for, because the times are such.
I know. I understand that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So guys, get an internet connection, please. Is what I would say. You can you use an office laptop? I think you probably can, right? As long as it doesn't it prevent
Yeah, it's
install
just
and
that
sub.
the proctor might ask you to delete certain apps in case they're not comfortable having those apps. So I'm not sure if you would have the admin rights to delete those from your office laptop. Just make sure of that. But otherwise, you can use.
Okay. So I want to just add one data point over here. Wi-Fi router served by Geo. So one of the guys who I spoke with, who took the online GMAT, scored a 770, a f- used a physical connection by Reliance Geo, and then the Wi-Fi router provided by Geo. So there was
Hmm.
fiber to home, and then the Wi-Fi router, and it worked just fine. So I have one data point that I can really say should work. So all right. I think with that, Sarah, I want to thank you for joining me today. I want to thank the entire team at MBA.com for providing all the information and for finally allowing the physical whiteboard with this.
Yeah.
I'm going
Yeah.
to share
Thank you
my.
so much, Rajat, for having me. And it was really nice getting all the questions, and I think all valid questions, all relevant questions. So thank you so much for this discussion.
I want to just say one thing before we leave. It's a good option. It's a great option to take the test from home. I think it's better. In my opinion, it's better than In-Center GMAT. I just wish we can take it even beyond the 17th of July, and we extend that date. And think we should start a petition to do that. Just because, given the uncertainty, I think in these uncertain times, it does add a certain amount of certainty, especially with the fact that you can reschedule at any time. You can still send the scores to as many schools. And lastly, what you just mentioned, you don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah, you don't
I,
have to
I,
wear a mask.
I think
Absolutely.
that's something for me seals the deal that if I were to go and take the test, I would take it from the comfort of my house overall. And for those of you who plan to take the test from home, I'd say just buy the whiteboard. Just have it as a strategic option. Don't wait till the last moment to do this. But then, thank you very much, Sehar, and thank you to the MBA.com team. And I wish
Thank
to
you
see
so
you
much,
guys in the
Rajat.
future.